You know, falling in love is complicated enough, but falling for your best friend's brother, oof, that's a whole nother level of messy. Today, we're jumping into a story that asks a huge question. What happens when you break the one rule you swore you never would?
Seriously, think about it. We all have one, right? That one line in the sand you promise yourself you'll never ever cross. Well, for the main character in our story, a 17-year-old named Nisha, that line couldn't have been clearer.
And we're not talking about just any best friend. This is Anya, her totally inseparable other half. This rule, it was basically the foundation of their entire friendship. So naturally, it's the one that's about to get completely shattered. All right, let's get into it. To really get why things went so wrong, we gotta look at how things were before the chaos. So let's meet the people right in the middle of this whole storm. Okay, so first up, we've got Nisha, who's telling us this whole story. Then there's Anya, her ride-or-die best friend, the kind who knows everything. And then there's Kabir, Anya's older brother, who for pretty much forever was just kind of there, like furniture. And this is where things get really interesting, right? You can see the total 180 here. On the one hand, you've got the Kabir that Nisha always knew. Annoying, kind of arrogant, just there. But then all of a sudden, one summer, he becomes this different person. Funny, caring, someone who actually got her. I mean, how does a switch like that even flip? It all started with just one moment, a single conversation late one evening out on the terrace. For the first time, there was no annoying teasing, no weird awkwardness, just a real connection. You know those moments? The ones that seem so small while they're happening, but you look back and realize they changed everything.
And yeah, this is where things get complicated. Because that one special conversation, it wasn't just a fluke. It was the start of a secret. A secret that was going to threaten to blow up her entire world.
And you can literally see how it all snowballed. It started pretty innocently, right? Talking on the terrace. Then it turned into nonstop texting. Pretty soon, that wasn't enough, so it became late-night calls when everyone else was asleep. And then, boom, secret meetings. Every single step pulled them deeper into their own little bubble and further away from the truth.
I mean, can you imagine living that double life? Every secret call, every stolen glance, it all felt absolutely perfect, like something straight out of a movie. But the second he was gone, bam, the guilt would just come crashing down. Because she was hiding this massive piece of her life from the one person who was supposed to know everything, her best friend. And then this happened. Anya makes this casual comment, probably laughing as she said it. And for Nisha, it was like a total punch to the gut. See, for Anya, it was just some hypothetical thing she was saying. But for Nisha, it was her worst fear, said out loud. And that one word she used? Betrayal. Ouch. Look, you can't keep a secret this big forever. It's just not possible. Eventually, those two separate worlds, the secret romance and the lifelong friendship, they were on a collision course. And when they finally smashed into each other, it was absolutely explosive. And it happened in the worst possible way. The way you play over and over in your head in your worst nightmares. Anya just walks in and sees them. They were just holding hands, but that was all it took. The story says the silence after that was terrifying. And you can just feel that, can't you? That horrible stomach-dropping moment. The secret was officially out. And that was the first thing she said. Not even a real sentence. Just two words loaded with so much shock and confusion. And it just completely shattered that awful silence. And then, as soon as that initial shock starts to fade, what's left is just pure hurt. Because for Anya, this wasn't even really about her brother. It was about her best friend. The one person on earth she trusted with everything had been lying straight to her face. And finally, the accusation hits them both. Because think about it, it wasn't just her friend who betrayed her, it was her brother too. In that one split second, Anya's entire support system just crumbled beneath her feet. She must have felt completely and utterly alone. So, where do you even go from there? How do you come back from that? You've got a friendship and a sibling relationship, both just shattered in an instant. Is there any hope of putting those pieces back together? Let's get into the aftermath. For days, there was just nothing. That horrible silence from the fight just stretched on and on, becoming this unbearable void. And sure, Kabir wanted to help fix it, but Nisha knew this was on her. She realized she couldn't make excuses. She couldn't try to explain it away. The only path forward was the truth. The whole, messy, unvarnished truth. So she went to Anya, and this is basically what she said. It wasn't an excuse, it was just an explanation from the heart. She tried to make her understand that she didn't plan to fall for Kabir. It just happened. But hurting Anya, that was the one thing she never, ever wanted to do.
And Anya's response, man, it just cuts right to the absolute heart of the problem. She basically says it was never about her dating Kabir. It was about the secrets. The real betrayal was Nisha being too scared to trust her, to trust their friendship. It was like Nisha didn't think their bond was strong enough to handle the truth.
But then, after all that anger, after all that hurt, something amazing happened. Anya hugged her. And in that one moment when they were finally coming back together, Nisha had this huge realization. Love is messy, it's complicated for sure. But a real, true friendship, that's something you fight for, no matter the cost.
So, after going through this whole emotional roller coaster, what are the big takeaways? Well, first, love just doesn't follow the rules. It's messy and unpredictable and shows up when you least expect it. Second, and this is a big one, honesty in a friendship is everything, even when it's hard. The truth might sting for a second, but a lie, that can poison things forever. And finally, sometimes the biggest risk you take isn't falling in love, it's asking for forgiveness. And that's pretty much where Nisha's story leaves us. It's just a huge reminder that those unbreakable rules we set for ourselves, they can get pretty fragile when our hearts get involved. So it really just leaves you with one question to think about, right? What's your unbreakable rule? And what or who would it take for you to break it?